So over a year ago, a group of us were on a call through the Northwest Film Center talking about what was happening in the world. And it was initially centered around the pandemic. We saw that when change was needed, people could do it like that. All of a sudden there were industry rules, there were additional supplies. Everyone changed the way they were doing in a flash, in a way that I couldn't believe. And it made me wonder why we couldn't see that kind of change around creating greater equity within the film industry. I wondered why we couldn't have a change to the film incentive program that would have workforce diversity requirements, because I know that when you change policy or when you create law, that you get way more bang for your buck. I then called up Lisa over at OMPA, and I also called up Annie, who was the head of the DEI committee, and I asked them both if we could start a subcommittee that would be specifically about working to change the film incentive program. And they both said yes. And then I called Ashley Mellinger and I said, will you be my co-chair on this? Because I knew that she cared about this stuff and she's been doing this work.
We ended up meeting with Tim Williams over at the Oregon Film Office, and along with Karina Ripper and Sarah Whelden and others who were just instrumental in this process, we started talking about what it might look like to draft up a bill that could work something into the film tax incentives that had to do with DEI.
Her partner in action, Ashley Mellinger, and herself just kind of burst in through the doors and demanded this change be made and started taking very clear, actionable steps to get there.
We wanted to have actual requirements, like you had to hire by a certain percentage, similar to what's done in construction. But we found out that we cannot do that yet for legal reasons.
We were discussing and realized that there was a real need to track the data so that we could continue to push this work and show how necessary it is and see if we make any real progress.
That bill ended up getting drafted up and became what is now HB3010, which requires folks to have a DEI policy in place when they apply for the film state tax incentives to hire equitably and hire diversely on their film crews, on their film staff, and have a written harassment policy.
They're also laying the groundwork for production companies to, understand how to create a safe environment on set and to begin to look at what they're doing by having data to track it. It's setting a tone and it's indicating to people that this is something that we care about. How much do we care about it? We care about it so much that we put it into law. It's important to me because I'm a filmmaker, and yes, I'm a minoritized individual, right? I'm Mexican American, I'm queer, I'm a woman. This is not what the typical production person looks like in the film industry, especially here in Oregon. But I want more people like me telling stories. I want more people like me becoming directors or directors of photography or casting directors. I want to be able to see the world reflected in the folks behind the camera.
It feels good to see measurable change, and I think it's important in film and in all of the creative industries to give a platform and to give a chance to and to make space for and room for and respect the stories of those who aren't heard as often. It's how we create holistic communities, it's how we create the best kind of art, it's how we create harmonious sets and environments to work in.
The most important part for me is that everybody came together. People who had never done anything like this, people had never thought of anything like this, had never spoken with the legislator, had never coordinated with the OMPA, said, I'm gonna participate in my government. I'm going to create a change that I wanna see in the world. I'm going to organize with my peers.
If you have an idea, run with it. Don't take no for an answer. Change is hard. It's not always the change that you're going to want it to be in the end, but keep pushing and get something done.
If you have an idea of helping improve the organization or industry as a whole, please go ahead and do it. There's no one telling you that you can't. There's no one who is waiting to give you permission. Feel free and just be as proactive as you are in filmmaking and in TV.
To me, this is just the starting point. There's so many other things that we can do. They're not all going to be legislative. We are building a better Oregon, right?
I think those of us who are in a position, who have privilege, who have the resources, it's really up to us to be the agents of change And as members of the OMPA, I think we all fulfill that role.
Really grateful to OMPA and for especially all the people that came together.
Tim Williams over at the Oregon Film Office, Lisa Chikala from the OMPA.
Thank you, Representative Smith-Warner.
Thank you, Representative Dexter.
Representative Alonzo Leon.
Thank you, Speaker Kotek.
Thank you, Representative Kropf.
Thank you, Representative Noss.
Representative Nathanson.
Thank you, Representative Prusak.
Thank you, Representative Ruiz.
Thank you, Representative Frederick.
Thank you, Representative Riley.
Representative Sanchez.
Thank you, Representative Lieber.
Thank you, all of you. It's possible to create change in our world.